Hello folks, this is David Hurley of EasyChessTips.com, and in today's video we're going to look at a problem that I've drawn from this German chess book, Zauberwelt der Kombination by Neistadt. Zauberwelt der Kombination means magic world of combinations. So this is a chess problem involving the concept of some kind of combination. If we look at the board, we can see that black is to move, but white has a material advantage. White has a rook and a knight up against two bishops and 3 pawns against 3 pawns and a queen each. So white has a small material advantage. But the second thing to notice is that black has quite a big positional advantage. Black has 2 very nicely placed bishops in the center of the board and a queen dominating this B file here. And the king is unable to move because of this queen here. We should also notice that white's knight is pinned by the bishop to the king. So the knight is in a bit of trouble. However, the knight is being defended by the queen. And the question is, how can black gain maximum advantage here? Let's just put these lines of influence on. So we see the bishop here is pinning the knight, and this bishop is controlling this diagonal here. We have the queen controlling this file here. Perhaps the rook could come across and challenge the queen, depending on the situation, but it is black to move. And the question is, how can black gain maximum advantage here? And the key is to notice that the queen is rather busy. The queen is defending the knight. If the queen was not there, this would be checkmate. If the queen was not there, the bishop could take the knight, and that would be checkmate, depending if the queen was off the board. So we feel that black is close to checkmate, or at least to winning this game. But how can black get there? There's something else you should notice, which is a rather more subtle point, and it is that the queen and the rook are on this diagonal here. And the queen, as I have said, is defending the knight. So how can black use that information or that analysis to find the winning advantage? And the concept that we're looking at is something which in German is called Ablenkung, which means distraction. What black needs to do is to draw the queen away from protecting the knight in such a way that either the knight will fall or black will gain a big advantage. And the key is this diagonal here. This is the key. Because the queen and the rook occupy this same diagonal, black can take advantage. The queen must not abandon the knight, because the bishop can then just take the knight and it will be checkmate. So black's best move, this looks reasonable. It's not the answer. It looks as if we're setting ourselves up for an advantageous exchange. The queen must take the queen to avoid being taken. And then in this exchange, we now have 2 bishops, a knight and a rook. The problem with this move is that black has solved white's problems. White's material advantage has increased, and black is nowhere near a checkmate, and the knight is no longer pinned to the king. So now white can improve the position by moving the king up against the knight. So that's not the answer. We need something better, something more subtle. Let's get rid of that. The key is to move the queen, that is true. But what happens if we move the queen to a7? Now, when the queen moves to a7, at first sight, it looks as if the white queen can simply take the queen. But that would be a mistake because, and this is the distraction, the Ablenkung. Black, by sacrificing the queen on a7, has removed the guard from the knight. The knight is now unguarded, and this, as you can see here, is checkmate. So the queen is tied to the defense of the knight. Just delete all that. So this move here is a killer. The queen cannot leave the knight, but the queen does not simply want to be taken. So perhaps the queen should move back and protect the knight like so, or like so. Where should we move the queen? Let's put the queen back here, where she's still threatening that pawn. But now black can take advantage of that weakness of the a7 g1 diagonal and capture the rook. And from here, if we look at the situation, we find, according to the computer engine, black is completely winning now this game. Black now has a massive material advantage, and whatever white does, it eventually leads to a loss. Again, this knight is still pinned by the bishop to the king, so the queen can come into this dominating position, pushing the king over here, and from here eventually checkmate can be attained. This is a winning combination. Okay, so let's just go back and look at the situation again right at the beginning. In looking for combinations, quite often you should be thinking about what is being protected and how does that weaken the piece that is protecting the other piece. And here the queen is in a weak position also because of this diagonal. If you can spot the weakness on that diagonal, you are doing well as a chess player. I guess most players at a regular level would miss that combination, but it's a good combination to know. Okay, that's all from me, David Hurley of EasyChessTips.com. Until the next chess problem.